They say love conquers all, but they never tell you what happens when love goes to war with unimaginable power. I crossed the most dangerous man in the city to save the woman I loved. I burned his empire to the ground, only to realize I was the villain all along. If you love stories of dark secrets, betrayal, and twists you will never see coming, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because what I'm about to tell you might just save your life one day. Her name was Maya. She was the kind of girl who made the rest of the world go quiet. We met at a cheap diner, shared a $5 plate of fries, and for a year, my life was perfect. She lived simply. She wore thrift store jackets, drove a beat-up sedan, and never talked about her family. I thought we were just two normal people building a life together. But I was completely blind, because Maya wasn't a normal girl, and she definitely wasn't poor. I just didn't know it until the black SUVs surrounded my apartment. It was a Tuesday night. Maya had just stepped out to grab groceries. 10 minutes later, my door didn't just knock, it was kicked open. 3 men in custom suits walked in. They didn't look like thugs, they looked like expensive assassins. And behind them walked a man I recognized from the front page of Forbes magazine, Victor Sterling. A billionaire real estate tycoon with rumors of deep, dark ties to the criminal underworld. He looked around my tiny apartment with absolute disgust. Then he looked at me. "You're the rat who's been sleeping with my daughter," he said. My heart stopped. Maya? His daughter? Before I could even process the shock, Victor reached into his coat and pulled out a checkbook. He wrote a number, tore the slip, and dropped it on my coffee table. $5 million. "Take it," he whispered, "and never look at her again, or I will erase you from this earth." Most men would have taken the money, but I made a choice that night, a choice that would ruin my life. I tore the check in half. I looked Victor Sterling in the eye and told him Maya wasn't for sale. He didn't yell. He just smiled, a cold, dead smile, and walked out. From that second, my life became a waking nightmare. By Wednesday morning, I was fired from my job. By Thursday, my bank accounts were frozen under a sudden fabricated federal investigation. By Friday, my landlord evicted me. Victor wasn't just threatening me, he was suffocating me. And worst of all, Maya was gone. Her phone was disconnected. She had vanished.
I knew she was locked away in his massive estate. I knew she was waiting for me to save her. So I didn't run. I fought back. I spent weeks digging into Victor's empire. I found the shell companies, the illegal offshore accounts, the bribes. I compiled every piece of dirt I could find. And I leaked it to every major news outlet and federal agency in the country. I thought I was the hero. I thought I had won. But I had no idea what I had actually just done. The raid happened at midnight. Helicopters swarmed Victor's estate. Federal agents kicked down his doors. His assets were frozen worldwide. His empire crumbled in a single hour. In the chaos, I slipped past the perimeter. I ran through the massive halls, screaming Maya's name. I finally found her in the West Wing. I expected her to run into my arms. I expected her to thank me for freeing her. But she didn't. She looked at me with pure hatred. "What have you done?" she whispered, her voice trembling. I tried to explain. I told her Victor was a monster. I told her I destroyed him for us. But then, Victor was dragged into the hallway by 2 agents in handcuffs. He looked at me, tears streaming down his face. Not tears of anger, tears of absolute despair. Victor wasn't locking Maya away to keep her from me. Maya had a rare, terminal genetic blood disease. The thrift store clothes, the simple life, it was an act. She wanted to feel normal before she died. The black SUVs, they weren't there to kidnap her. They were there to rush her to emergency treatment when she collapsed at the grocery store. Victor's illegal accounts, the bribes, the offshore money, it wasn't for greed. It was the only way to secretly fund the unapproved underground medical research keeping his daughter alive. By freezing his assets, by destroying his empire, I hadn't saved the woman I loved. I had shut down the labs. I had cut off the funding for her treatment. I had practically signed her death warrant. Victor went to federal prison, and because his money was seized by the government, Maya was moved to a standard public hospital. Without the experimental treatments, she had less than 2 months left. I tried to visit her every single day, but the nurses wouldn't let me in because I was the only person on her visitor restriction list. If you're still listening, drop a broken heart emoji in the comments. It helps more than you know. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. I thought I was a knight in shining armor, but my pride disguised itself as love. I wanted to beat Victor. I wanted to prove I was man enough to take down a giant, and I used Maya as my excuse. Love doesn't destroy. True love seeks to understand. If I had just swallowed my pride, if I had just taken a step back and asked the right questions, Maya would still be safe. I made a decision that day. I didn't try to contact her again. I didn't try to apologize, because the most loving thing I could do for her now was to disappear, to let her spend her final days in peace, without looking at the face of the man who ruined everything. I crossed a powerful man because I loved his daughter. But the hardest pill to swallow isn't that I lost her. It's knowing that if her father had succeeded, she would have lived. And my heroism was the real crime.